Spiritual Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Bigger, and I'm back again with another episode. In today's episode, I will talk about building a strong soul connection and tapping into your higher self. But before we get started, I want to share a quote with you that I heard from Tony Robbins earlier today. And it goes, hard times create strong people. Strong people create good times. Good times create weak people. Weak people create hard times. I'll say it again. Hard times create strong people. Strong people create good times. Good times create weak people. Weak people create hard times. What does that mean? And what am I referring to? I believe the times we're living in now, today, I believe dating back to 2020, the pandemic, we've been going through really hard times, right? Emotionally, mentally, collectively, energetically. And through those times, we get to see who we are on all levels, right? It hasn't been easy. It's been overwhelming. It's been challenging. We had the war going on in the Middle East. We just recently had the LA fires here in Los Angeles, Palisades, Altadena, and all the surrounding areas who was affected. And it's allowing us to build a stronger collective consciousness, to expand our vessel, to receive more light through the darkness we're going through. So there's nothing wrong with having good times. But in life, if you look at history, history repeats itself. And those hard times will create strong people, right? And sometimes good times don't bring us that because there's no challenge, there's no change, there's enthusiasm, there's fulfillment. I say that quote because I wanted to say, if you're experiencing hard times, if you're challenging times, that we all are in some way, some fashion, right? Collectively, individually, spiritually, emotionally. Just know there's light on the other side of your darkness. There's prosperity on the other side of your pain. There's peace on the other side of your chaos. So don't give up, don't give in. And the hard times, challenging times will make sense once you get out of it. You know, there's also a quote that says, you're even in the storm, coming out of a storm, or you're going into a storm. Life is a matter of perspective. So be prepared for all times of life, even the good ones. We can still have fun and create greatness within ourselves and others. But sometimes we need those challenging times so we can evolve, we can expand, and we can become better individuals, better human beings, better, siblings, parents, elderly. I mean, just collectively. So there it is. But let's get into this episode. So I want to talk about building soul strength to connect to your higher self, because as I talked about experiencing challenging and hard times, I believe one of the most important thing you can have is your internal self, your internal being, your true self, your most authentic self. And sometimes we have things in our way to disconnect us from our heart and our most vulnerable self, right? We have social media. We have careers, we have relationships, we have video games, we have basketball games, sporting events. We have all these things, eating, pleasure. We have all these things to distract us from building that strong soul compass to become our most vulnerable, complete, whole self without resistance and judgment. So there are 4 topics I want to kind of talk about. And the first one is presence, right? My challenges has been not being present for life. I've been present in my mind, but not in my body, because I'm always busy. I'm always doing something. I'm always covering up time with energy and doing things. Well, I call it human doing. And I lack human being. I'm always doing and not being. And I've gotten better, but I think what I'm really saying here is that, presence is the gateway to your power. The best things in my life happen when I'm present, when I'm in the moment. I'm here now talking to you on this podcast. Probably something magic and miracle is happening in the cosmos for my life that I can't see just yet, right? And in a society that we live in today, we have so many distractions, right? Especially social media, our phones, gossip, the news, mass media, maybe our, sporting teams, even with LA Fires. These things are, I don't want to say to intentionally get us out of our place, but they're there to distract us from being present, from being in the moment. And I think when you have a disaster like the LA Fires this year, it allows you to really just be still, to be still and submit to the moment, to submit to being present. Because when you're fully present and you're in that most vulnerable, grounded space, that's when life is happening, because that is real life. History is right now, in this moment, not tomorrow, not a week from now. History in the future is now. And so the more you can be present with yourself, you can get to know your power, you can understand your power, you can be in your power, you can embrace your power, and you can speak your power. That's also a challenge where sometimes when I'm getting a lot of information, I want to give it away because I don't know how to hold information within my body again and be present, because I'm so excited. Maybe it's the information and the wisdom is overwhelming. I want to share it, but it hasn't marinated within my vessel, within my soul, within my body. So I'm also, to feed off of that, presence is the gateway to your power. Sometimes it's not best for us to give away our power, right? So say, for instance, I get a download, or I get a great idea, but I haven't really sat with it. Sometimes it's not best to just give it away or give it out right away, because there's power in saying less. There's power in being present and just feeling what that information is, or feeling what that new idea is, or feeling what that new epiphany just did for your life. So I'm going to take it upon myself to be more present within the power that I am, that I have through information, downloads, synchronicities, and to hold on to it and to say less, but to be present in whatever is coming up. And I think when you are present, when you are here, you're able to feel through and feel in your intuition more, and you're really able to have real discernment, and you'll know when to express yourself. You'll know when to ask for help. You'll know when to make a decision. And presence is the gateway to power, because the more present you are with life and with yourself, you can have more deeper connections with people that you talk to. You can take more aligned action, right? You can take a more aligned action, more inspired action that's for your highest good, for your highest timeline. And you can do less and accomplish more because you're present. There's a difference between feeling like you have to be right all the time and having something to say, versus not having any attachment to being right and having nothing to say. Let that marinate. It's the difference between having so much to say and being right versus not being attached to being right and having nothing to say. They say less is more. It's a cliche. It's a phrase for a reason. So think about it. Somewhere in your life, you do less, but you get more done. And I think in that space of that power is presence of your gift that you might have, right? We all have a gift that we know. Some of us are great leaders, great hairstylists, professors, social workers, speakers, trainers. Some of us are great listeners, great chefs. But because you're so good at that thing, you're not rushing to get it done, or you're not feeling like you got to be right about it, because you know. And I think presence allows you to be in your direct knowing energy. And there's a difference between knowing and believing. When you know something, you're fully present in your body. When you believe, not that you're not present, I just think it's more in your mind more so than your body. You know how you get that nudge, or you get that, that hit, that intuitive hit, you just know, boom, I got to make a decision now. I got to book my ticket. I got to date this person. I got to go on this job, career fair, or whatever it is. So one way to have a stronger soul within yourself is practice on being present, because that is the gateway to your power. And I want to give you exercises to these topics. And for this, if you can do it for a week, right? I want you to, for a week straight, Just sit in silence for 10 minutes and just be present. And don't try to have no outcome. Just want you to practice sitting still in 10 minutes for 10 minutes every day for 7 days. And then after 7 days is up. Journal the experience and what that did for your life, what it did for your mind, what it did for your confidence, what it did for your body. 7 straight days, sit still for 10 minutes. It could be early in the morning, late at night before bed, or whatever time you choose, but consistently. And let me know. DM me or message me here on YouTube or just comment on one of my posts on social media. All right, moving on. Next one. This is pretty common. When you stop chasing, you begin to attract. So, I always say the law of attraction always requires some type of action. And non-action is also action, right? Like I was just saying, being present and doing less, just being still and allowing things to come in. So when I read that out, when you stop chasing, you begin to attract, because when you're chasing something somewhere in your body, you either don't believe you can get it, you don't think you should have it, or it's not even you don't think you should have, you're not confident that it can come to you. I think it was about like 8 years ago. I was talking to my healer and we're talking about, romantic relationships and partners. She said, Eric, I'm sorry. Shouts out to Jolie, by the way. She's like, I know you might not want to hear this, but you're a king and you're going to attract your queen. You're not supposed to chase your partner and find them. They're going to find you. You're going to find each other. And on a subconscious level, I somewhat knew that most of my life, but I just love the pursuit. I love the court and, pursue women and, all these things, take them out and just show them how they should be treated. But in my history of dating, I've noticed all the women I wanted or I chased, I pushed them away. But when I wasn't looking for the love, and when I wasn't yearning for it, I was attracting the greatest love in my life, which I'm experiencing now. So, when you stop chasing, you begin to attract. So stop chasing people, stop chasing things, and chase your higher self, right? I always say the hardest work we'll do in life is on ourselves. So if you have the intention that you want to be better, you want to be a better individual, you want to eat healthy, you want to get your rest, you want to, think positively, you want to speak positive to yourself, you want to have, a great rapport and relationship with yourself, you want to love yourself, and you show up this way every day as much as you can, you will attract the greatest love, the greatest opportunities, and the greatest people. 2018, probably a year off of the first TV show, my intentions was I'm going to have my Instagram look like a commercial by doing brand deals. But my intention was I was going to work on my energy, right? Because my energy is my currency. So that was my intention. And every day I read books, I worked out, I meditated, I did recovery. I just did whatever it took to be the best I could be. And then on that frequency, I attracted more TV shows, more opportunities, so many brand deals and, infinite possibilities, because that was my intention and it worked. But the focus was to work on my energy, to have the best energy, to be in a high vibration, to attract things on that frequency. So when you stop chasing, you begin to attract. So stop chasing and allow things to unfold and manifest in your life by you chasing yourself and being in a high vibration. So for that exercise, I would just say every day for the next 7 days, do something that you know is going to benefit your highest self for your highest good. I just say for me, it could be getting up early every day for 5 a.m. to do an hour of spiritual work. That's meditating, that's praying, that's journaling, that's affirmation, that's breath work. I'll do that for 7 days, get up at 5 and do an hour of deep spiritual work. And you could pick whatever it is, go for a walk, work out, sing, dance, but find that one thing you can do for 7 days that you know is going to benefit your highest self and get you to your highest timeline of your life. The only thing standing between you and your highest self is the story you're telling yourself. So let's break it down. What is your highest self? From my perspective, your highest self is your most fulfilled self. Is the self that you're happy to look at, you're happy to see. When people see you, they light up. It's kind of like we just feel good. You feel good about life. You feel good about yourself. For me, get a haircut, brand new sneakers, fresh out the gym, a good meal, maybe massage, like that's what it feels like to be in my higher self, at peace, at ease, clean energy, clarity about my direction in life, connected to God and higher power. In my life, that's what it's like for being in my highest self, highest vibration. You got to discover what is your highest self, because it's not going to be the same as me. We live different lives, or maybe maybe it is the same. So we got to get clear on what does your higher self look like in your life, and how does that make you feel, right? So the exercise for this, just write down what your higher self is, what you think it is. And then think about, what story are you telling yourself on a day-to-day basis? Do you have fear? Do you have self-doubt? Do you self-sabotage when you get opportunities or things you really want because of fear? Do you not feel safe in your nervous system? Like, what story are you telling yourself? There was a story at one point where when it came to relationships and dating, I was just like, man, maybe I'm just too much for people. Like, maybe I just got too much energy. I'm overwhelming. Like, maybe I'm too much. That was my story. But that's not connected to my higher self. I'm not too much. I'm more than enough, and I'm just how I should be. Right? You see how I changed that story? So when I change that story about myself, I have more infinite possibilities to move into a partnership or move into something that's in alignment of my highest timeline, right? So we got to be mindful and stand guard to the door of our mind. Stand guard at the door of our mind to understand what are we telling ourselves? What stories are we telling ourselves? What's the story you tell yourself about yourself? And hopefully it's positive. If it's not, let's rewire your thinking and create a positive story. So write down for this exercise, what does your higher self look like? What does it feel like? And how do you design that in your life? And what stories are you telling yourself? Are they good stories or negative stories? When you feel down, do you talk down, or do you feel like you got great self-talk? So all these little things that we overlook in life is, I can't say we all overlook, but some of us overlook. It's like tedious, it's small. It's how you build a stronger soul. The day in and day out, self-talk, working out, getting rest, loving yourself, mirror work, affirmations, working out, listening to your intuition, being discerning about who you should hang out with and what opportunities you should embrace. These little small hits, nudges will have a stronger soul connection, and you will strengthen that part of you. So these things that I'm talking about, presence and to attract and not chase, the story you're telling yourself will allow you to be in your higher self, to have a strong soul connection, right? And the last but not least, this one is really, everyone knows this, but we gotta define, what does that mean to us? The most spiritual thing you can do is to love yourself fully, unconditionally. I had a history of, if I'm not accomplishing, if I'm not succeeding, if I'm not achieving and doing things to make others happy, I feel like a failure. Or if I'm not getting things, if I'm failing at something, I'm not good enough. So I only love myself if I was adding value, taking care of someone, giving something, or accomplishing. And I realized, like, I love myself no matter what. I love myself no matter what I look like. I love myself no matter what I feel like. I love myself no matter what's going on in the world. I love myself. It was hard for me to do that for years, because a lot of my love was rooted in validation from external forces and people. A lot of the self-love was love from others, not from self, because I didn't feel worthy enough to love myself, because I thought I was, not vanity, but conceited or full of myself. And I realized, like, no, you should be full of yourself. If you're not full of yourself and love yourself, how can somebody else love yourself? And I've learned in relationships, it's easy to give somebody something you want, but if you're giving someone love that you don't give yourself, they can't love you the way you need them to or want them to. And you can't even feel that love that you're giving, because you're not giving it to yourself. So the moral of the story is this: love yourself every day. Good, indifferent, bad, unconditionally. because you're going to have bad days. You're going to have long days. You're going to have tough days. You're going to have sad days. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be in fear. You're going to have a lack and limiting mindset. However, love yourself. You know, I love myself. I need you to love yourself. So for this exercise, I want you to go to the mirror for the next 7 days and speak out loud that you love yourself. So say your name. Like if it was me, I would say, Eric, I love you. Eric, I love you unconditionally. Eric, you're love. Eric, I love you. Right? So go and practice self-love affirmations. Like I said before, like it might sound cheesy, but these things work. You're talking to the energy within your body, your spiritual body. We always think about the physical body, but what about the spiritual body? And that's the thing about spiritual fitness is more than what it looks like, is what you feel, is what's happening behind what you see, right? It's like, how are you in your heart space? How are you when it comes to expressing your feelings and emotions? You're not feeling good. Like all this is part of spiritual fitness. So the spiritual body is just as important as the physical body. So do not take your spiritual body for granted. The energy that you're in, the thoughts that you think about, the beliefs you have, that's all part of the spiritual body. So yes, practice self-love for the next 7 days in the mirror and look yourself in the eyes. It's okay. It might be weird, but why loving yourself? Why would that be weird if you want someone else to love you? Right? Think about that. So listen, people, presence is the gateway to your power. When you stop chasing, you begin to attract the best parts of yourself and of life. The only thing standing between you and your highest self is the story you're telling yourself. So change the story to change your life. The most spiritual thing you can do is love yourself. So continue to love yourself. Before we get off here, I want to share some DMs I got from a few people that inspired me to continue to go within and connect to myself to put out this content. Someone DM'd me and said, your sincere and engaging content delivered me with vital encouragement during this trying period. Your updates connected with me on a profound level, proving me that I'm not alone in my challenges. All posts felt like an encouraging word of encouragement, aid me to conquer the difficulties I encountered. Your optimistic approach and wise words provided me the courage to persist. I can't probably thank you for the hope you bring through your Instagram account. Your contribution on my life and certainly on the lives of countless others is immeasurable. Continue to create the amazing content that you do. Remember that your updates are important and that you are influencing lives one caption at a time with profound respect. And it's moments like that that I sit and I say, this is why I do what I do. There's prayers that I have before I get up in the morning. And I pray to God to allow me to post the right content, to write the right caption that's going to inspire, impact, and influence the people who might need it, right? So that's a reminder of to continue to do the work, to continue to be in my spiritual fitness of the spiritual bodies, continue to pray, meditate, breath work, do all the things that make me who I am, because clearly it's making an impact. So thank you for that message. I don't, because this was some time ago, so I don't have the person's name, but I remember it and I saved it. So times like this, when you're having down days or tough days, it's always good to have these type of messages, good energy to remind yourself who you are and where you are. Here's another one. So this one is pretty interesting. This one is about a man and then having a spouse, having a partner, having a woman, right? I think this young lady, I think I put a poll up on my social media, but she said, well, and think about this and give me your feedback. Well, a successful man cannot have a weak woman supporting him. She needs to be emotionally, mentally, and spiritually solid to be his peace. An awakening female has a healing effect. Women innately want to be protected and feel secure, but they are also protectors in their own way. I thought that was dope how she spent that, right? Protectors of their partners and children's hearts and minds. Your post makes complete and perfect sense. I think that's how it was designed to be between a man and a woman. And I totally agree with this statement, because behind every successful man, there's a woman. And we all come from a woman's womb. So, I mean, women are powerful. Everything is manifested through the frequency of a woman. Look, she can have a baby, right? We all came here through a woman's womb, right? So what do you think about that? Do you think, a woman needs to be emotionally, mentally, and spiritually strong to be a man's peace? I mean, maybe not, but I would love that, right? I think I mean, I have a woman in my life that's like that, and she brings me a lot of peace. But yeah, shouts out to all the men and the women out there. Shouts out to the strong, innately women who healing and doing all that work, and then the women that's on that journey, like sending you love in these trying times for some of you. But yeah, comment, let me know what you think. And last, let's see, one more. I had someone DM me. He said, "Hey Eric, just followed you, man. Reading your post felt like you were speaking directly to my soul. Lately, I've been struggling with pacing myself and feeling like I need to prove my progress to others. Your words about turning victory and love inward reminded me that this journey is for me, not for the applause. I've been stuck in my own bubble and it's time to open up again. Thank you for sharing such powerful insights. It's helping me to shift my mindset as I step into this next phase." Shouts out to Kevin. Thank you for that. And it's people like him that inspire me, motivate me to continue to just want to be better. Like my intentions every day is how can I add value to the world I serve? How can I be a better man, a better listener, a better thinker, a better creator? How can I align myself to build myself, to have a strong soul, to be in my higher self? And this podcast intentions was for you to connect to your soul and for it to become stronger, for you to be in your higher self so you can be fulfilled and have success and be loved and applaud and admired and feel seen and feel safe and know that you deserve the best. You're more than enough and you're worthy. So thank you for listening. This was another episode on Spiritual Fitness Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast. Shouts out to Simplified Impact, Carla, Anna, Madison. I hope I said everybody's name. Shouts out to the team. I appreciate all the support. These guys help me with my podcast, my YouTube, and they're the reason you guys hear this, see this, and are impacted by the words and information and wisdom that comes through this mic, through my soul, through my vessel. So thank you. And remember, people, don't forget about the spiritual body. As much as we work on the physical body, we got to think about the spiritual body. And if you looking forward to working with me one-on-one, hey, sign up for a discovery call. Let's get in, on Zoom. Let's talk and see if we're fit. If your soul is connected to my soul, and I can help you get to your higher self. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you. It's miracle season. Be great. Talk soon.